I had in my head, build for the audience you want, not the audience you have.
You basically said bye to those 50,000 people.
Yeah, and then I never posted on my channel again.
Jarvis Johnson had one of the fastest growth trajectories I've ever seen for a creator.
I was expecting to hit 100K over the weekend, but I hit it at lunchtime.
1 million subscribers in 7 months. But here's the thing, it was incredibly deliberate. Like, he read YouTube's white paper on how their discovery algorithm worked, and then he used what he learned in that paper to make his videos more viral. He also did something that I've just not seen many YouTubers do: audience hopping. He jumped from one audience, tech,
How do I get into software engineering?
to a completely unrelated audience, comedy commentary,
Oh, why did you throw it down?
which just basically doesn't happen.
I would like to make money following my lifelong dream of making videos, please. You and everybody else, buddy.
Now Jarvis has one of the biggest commentary channels on YouTube. He's insanely smart, insanely determined, and one of the most special creators on the internet. Jarvis.
What's up?
Thanks for being here.
I'm happy to be back.
I want to get nerdy today.
Oh, we will.
Like really obnoxiously nerdy and detailed.
I'm down. I'm down to get nerdy, and then I'm also down to get soft and creative.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
From the heart and from the head.
Exactly.
Both at once.
You need it.
Okay. When did you first feel like, I'm building an audience, I'm connecting with people, I've got a community here? Like, was it a slow burn? Was there a moment? When did that happen?
So the fourth video I made was called it was something about like an intro to software engineering. But I quickly realized that while I could lean into this niche of like tech lifestyle content, it just wasn't the full picture of like what I wanted to express creatively. I was like, I want to do a commentary video. Let me do a commentary video about tech stuff. So I do a video called The Worst Software Engineering Advice I've Ever Seen.
All right, step 2. Begin programming immediately. Remember step 1? Step 1, you gotta start programming now. Even if you're still in grade school? Is this for real?
So it was my first like commentary video. And at the end of that video, again, I was thinking of this as my whole audience watching everything in sequence. I watched a video from this channel called 5 Minute Crafts.
Those are exercises we can do. God, that looks terrifying.
I included that at the end of the video, knowing that it wasn't really connected to software engineering advice, because I was like, I really want to do a whole video about this, but I think I need to like tease it before people are like comfortable. And so then the immediate video after that was at the time called The Worst Life Hacks I've Ever Seen, because the video before that was called The Worst Software Engineering Advice I've Ever Seen. And no one showed up for that video.
No one showed up for the video about the life hacks.
The life hack video, because YouTube is trying its best to impress upon or show the most likely viewer to watch your content, the video. And to YouTube, the most likely viewer was a tech viewer.
So this is the problem.
Right.
Which is that you found an audience, your early videos connected, you got the tech people, and then you hit a point that a lot of creators hit where they're like, okay, like if you're lucky, you hit a point that a lot of creators hit. It's like you wiggle your way in.
Right.
Kind of.
No, that's how it feels.
Like
anything, you're taking anything you can get.
It's just like taking bets. You find something that hits, you're in a category, and then you're like, that's not exactly what I want to do.
Right.
And what I want to say. And what I want to say is this, and what I want to do is this.
Right.
But this audience expects this, and that's what I found first. Now, that's where it stops for a lot of creators.
Yeah.
You did something that very few people are able to do, which is you kind of hopped audiences.
Yeah.
How did you make that bridge?
I was watching another creator who was in the desired genre community like that I wanted to be in, which is commentary, like comedic commentary on YouTube, named Cody Ko, also former software engineer. Don't know what that's about. Cody had made a video about 5 Minute Crafts.
A drill? We need a power tool for this craft? Seems a little excessive.
And so the first thing that I go is like, I made a video about 5 Minute Crafts. So there have to be people who watched his video who want to see more of this goofiness, and now they've been introduced to it, right? And so I changed the title and thumbnail of my video to just more closely seem related to his. So instead of The Worst Life Hacks I've Ever Seen, I titled the video 5 Minute Crafts is the worst channel on YouTube. And, it's like negativity sells on YouTube, extreme opinions, the more extreme, the better. In reality, like when you watch the video, I'm not angry. I'm goofing around. A few days later, like I see like a spike in my analytics. This was like picking up, but it wasn't going gangbusters or anything. And I was like, interesting. And right around that time, I put out this video where I was like reviewing my transcript. And the way that I pitched it, which was my whole computer science degree in 12 minutes. That was like how I like pitched it. And that video was like a 1 out of 10 in the dashboard. You know, it was like my most successful video to date, basically in terms of view growth. And so I had a decision to make. The life hack video was picking up views, and I could play into that audience. Because right now, there's literally no other video on my channel for that person to watch. And then the other option is to continue to lean into the software engineering thing, which is what has been working for me. You know, when something works, if you just kind of keep hitting it, then you can really like leverage it for growth on YouTube. And so I felt the fork in the road. And in the comments to that 5-minute crafts video, there are a lot of people like, you think this is bad, you should watch Troom Troom. And I was like, okay, well, let me do that. And then I made a video called Troom Troom is actually the worst channel on YouTube. The voiceover is very awkward, as if the script was written by a non-native English speaker, which would make sense because Troom Troom has like 10 different channels across a ton of different languages. And so this got me thinking, like, what is Troom Troom? Who runs it? Other question in a conspiratorial tone.
So you chose the comedy.
I chose the comedy path because I was like, I better give this a shot because I already know that the software engineering thing can work. So I was like, this is just me trying another thing. I can always go back to the software engineering thing because an individual video isn't going to tank a channel. So I think it pays to experiment. In that video, I have the screenshot because I have to this day never seen anything like it. So not only was it a 1 out of 10 on the thing, but they tell you your percentages of like, the views are up this percent, the watch time is up this percent. It said 999% and then greater than. Like it was just like, it's off the video's now off the charts. We don't even display, our front end code doesn't even display numbers this high. And I was like, okay, cool. Like we're in. And then it was a little bit of, I now swapped audiences a bit. The tech audience was still there, and they were loud, and they were like, when are you going to make tech videos again?
How many subscribers did you have at that point?
At that point, before the 5-minute crafts video blew up, I had 50,000 subscribers, which is a sizable number.
So how did you, okay, this is another thing that lots of, not just creators deal with, but companies deal with, and people who make products deal with.
Yeah.
You basically said bye to those 50,000 people.
Yeah.
How did you feel about like if they're leaving comments, you know?
And yeah, I had in my head, build for the audience you want, not the audience you have. And so I was like, let me try capitalizing on this, because at that point, that 5-minute crafts video had 400,000 views when the Troom Troom video came out. And then the 5-minute crafts video continued to grow, and then the Troom Troom video was a fast follow to it. So today, the 5-minute crafts video has 10 million views, and the Troom Troom video has 6 million views. So yeah, it was a little bit leaving the audience behind, but because I didn't feel like that audience was a community, like I didn't feel like they were there for me. Some people were, and some of those people are still around. Like I'll get DMs and they'll be like, I've been following since these days. And I'm like, really? But the other thing I did, I wasn't ready to throw tech aside. I made a second channel and basically was kind of like, this is where I'm going to do tech stuff. And that channel, one video got 300,000 views and it got 50,000 subscribers like in a few weeks.
So you basically just migrated
I just moved them. Yeah, I felt like I migrated. And then I never posted on my channel again. Which is the saddest part, is that I kind of led them to, you know, their demise, I guess.
But the thing that I think is so important in all of that is that, you know, you as a creator, I feel like, yes, you can just make the thing that you got famous for and kind of hop on the treadmill and start cranking it out despite the heart, because clearly you're an incredibly smart person. You could have just brained your way through that whole thing and said, I'm going to leave the spirit behind, I'm going to leave the heart behind and just like logic my way through building an audience.
Right.
But you felt like a pull to make something else and you had the guts to do it. And I think that is something that, man, I wish for every creative person, because it's so easy to get sucked into trying to maneuver through the rules and just winning the game.
Yeah.
And learning the game of it.
Yeah.
And forgetting that, like, oh, actually, if I want to be, like, happy and, like, fulfilled as an artist,
Yeah.
like, I got to listen to what I want to make in the world.
That's very true. I do want to say that it's, like, very easy to, like, tell that story in a narrative and be like, and then the rest was history. But that process repeated of, like, okay, I'm experimenting. I'm going back to what works. I'm experimenting. And throughout that, you are building an audience, hopefully. And in the long term, you have you expand that core, right? So that you can take more risks and have it not be as big of a hit on, like, your performances.
Last question. You know, you got a podcast called Sad Boys.
True.
You're nailing the YouTube life. You, like, made the jump somehow.
Yeah,
it's been
somehow.
incredible. You now got a team, editors, producers.
Yeah.
You're making stuff all the time, multiple things a month.
Yeah.
Are you happy? Are you
Oh, yeah.
fulfilled as a creator?
You know, I am so much better, like, these days than I was, like, immediately after leaving Patreon, because I was, like, trying to figure out myself. And then right after I thought I figured out my plan and I moved to Los Angeles, COVID happened. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm just in this Los Angeles apartment. I haven't really explored the city yet. And a lot of my friends, like, moved, or, you know, it was like I was rebuilding. I felt like a series of kind of rolling the boulder up the hill, Sisyphean style, and having it roll back down. But I actually do feel like I'm at a good place now to build from. And if it stops here, I'm, like, really happy.
Amazing. Well, thank you for coming in. Thanks for taking the time.
Hell
So
yeah.
good to see
My
you.
pleasure.
Again.
Yeah, so good to see you.